I don't know, can you hear that sound? That thump, 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 thump. This car is giving me all the problems, and of course, it waits until the moment that I have decided, yeah, okay, I'm gonna sell this car. This car has been through a lot with me and my family. I brought my kids home from the hospital in this car. I moved from Washington State to California and back in this car. My kids have grown up in this car and we've outgrown this car. And I have a lot of sentimental attachment because of all that. But I'm still gonna sell this car, and I have to figure out what that sound is, because I have too much pride of ownership and I care about this car story too much to just dump it on some unsuspecting buyer. But I think that this fix is going to be a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I'm Travis, and this is my 2017 Volkswagen Golf Alltrack. And I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but when I got this car, I broke nearly every single one of my car buying rules when I made this purchase. I found that the difference between a car that I want, like the Maserati or the Porsche, I just go deep on like the forums, everything you can find out about a car. But this car wasn't necessarily something I wanted. It was something that was more of a necessity and needed to be a little bit of an appliance purchase. So I did the basic stuff. I got a pre-purchase inspection. I read some consumer reports. I said, you know what? It's a pretty new car. It's 2017. The other ones are usually older. I'm fine with those. Like, this thing should be good to go. Unfortunately, that hasn't always been the case. Even though I have loved this car and taken care of it, it has been a little bit more challenging. And the deal that I make with an appliance car is it shouldn't be challenging. It should just work. I should be able to do whatever I want to do with it and not have any problems. I expect those problems from the Porsche. I expect those problems from the Maserati. Those are the choices I made to drive those cars. But this car, I wasn't expecting it. And unfortunately, I kind of let my emotion get in the way of making this rational purchase. I thought it was a rational purchase. I mean, it's a kind of a commuter car. It gets good gas mileage. It has a lot of space. But we're in a world of crossovers, and I kind of let my emotion for wanting a wagon instead of a crossover steer the family car buying decision into this car, which, when we have problems with it, I hear about it both financially and from my loved ones at home. So I need to figure out a way to fix this car. And I had a theory that I thought was going to be the ticket, but it is a little bit more complicated than that. All right, so the first theory and the first thing I wanted to check was around the tires. I'd done some research on some other things, like maybe it could have been wheel bearings, but when I was loading the car up side to side, it wasn't making any sort of like changes in sound or pitch. And you know, I was due for a tire rotation anyway, so I was like, okay, well, they can at least check and make sure that like the wheels are all balanced properly and that, you know, I don't have anything like, you know, tire cupping. And also the tires, if it was like a single tire that needed to be replaced, I was like, you know, I think they might still be under warranty. I can probably like at least get the cheapest option to fix these. So anyways, I did take it in and told them, like, you know, okay, it's making a noise, like it's coming from the back. Can you check the tires? Like, you know, can you check the wheel bearings, spin it, like all that stuff? And they came back and they're like, everything looks good. Tires look good. We didn't hear any sound, like spinning your wheels around. Like, we don't think it's that. So, well, you know, we can go, let's just take it for a drive and you can hear the noise with me again. All right, so driving this car, you really can't ignore the sound. It like is very distracting. It makes it even hard to kind of carry a conversation. If you're alone, you can kind of drown it out with music, but it's there, and I don't know exactly what it is, except that it's coming from the rear of the car. The thing is, like, this car entered my life because it was supposed to ask very little of me and be my, like, kind of like a reliable family car that I can throw stuff in the back of it and not care at all. And the relationship I have with this car, you know, over time changed. I made a lot of memories in this car, and I now have some stronger feelings and emotions towards it. But at the end of the day, it's a tool car, and it has now stopped upholding its end of the bargain that I made with it, and it is kind of driving me a little bit crazy, which is even more frustrating because the way that this car kind of entered into my life, my family's life, is this is the one that I kind of steered the ship into, and so I get it twice as bad knowing that, like, this was my rational choice, but, like, at the end of the day, I probably should have just bit the bullet and gotten some sort of a boring econo crossover instead of a, you know, Volkswagen sport wagon of some sort. So that's just on me. So my initial theory about the tires didn't work. And we have the sound with this car coming from the back end. And, you know, I've taken really good care of this car over the years, making sure it's getting serviced on time and all of that. But I think that this one might have just been destined to end up exactly with the problems that it has, with or without my care. The one thing, though, I will say is I didn't anticipate to get so sentimentally attached to this car when I got it, but there's been many a night over beers I have you know, defended the Volkswagen Golf wagon choice over some sort of an SUV or crossover. But I will say I have a good family friend who is a mechanic, and he gave me a hot tip about how I may be able to fix this car for not very much money.